Hello and welcome to Video Revealed. I'm Colin Smith. I'm about to show you why all your audio mixing problems go away today. This is Alex Audio Butler. All right, Alex Audio Butler is a plugin from Unimule, and you install it in Premiere Pro, which I'll show you how to do it in a second, and it runs in the track mixer. They're going to have this available for other video editing NLEs in the future, but right now it's only available for Premiere Pro, and it changes everything. I've been using a pre-release version on my show for, I don't know, 6 or 8 months now, and it just takes all the problems away from learning how to edit. Let's look at how we set it up first, and then I'll talk a bit about it. So in the Edit menu on Windows, in the Premiere Pro menu on the Mac, Preferences, Audio, and down at the bottom, the Audio Plugin Manager. And here you need to scan for plugins. So after you finish installing the program, these are the common places that VST plugins are installed. When you scan for the plugins, you just turn them on over here. And you can see there's Alex Audio Butler. It's VST3, and that's where it sits. If you can't find it, you can add it in here, but there's a good chance that once you install it and you scan it, it's there and it's available. If you don't scan, you're not going to see it in there. You only have to do this once. Okay, so what is this? This is artificial intelligence that analyzes, or I like to think that it listens to your timeline and then it makes changes based on what an audio engineer would do. That's the really important part, is that Unimule is not just software engineers, they're audio engineers, so they know how to engineer audio. What you won't see is what's happening in the background. It's adding compression, mastering, keyframes, all of the things that an audio engineer would do, it's done in the background. With one little warning, and I want to tell you that that Alex Audio Butler has to calculate things, so you might hear it do some odd things while it's playing back the timeline. Got to remember, this is artificial intelligence, so it has to listen to your timeline. So I'm going to play this back right now with no, all the audio mixers, all the faders are at 0. So we're going to listen to a raw mix first. I'm going to open up my mixer in the window menu, Audio Track Mixer. It's not normally open, and you can see I've got one mixer channel for each track. And down here, I've got a sound effects track, a music track, and a voiceover track. So I'll play this now.
Adventure is all around you.
Let me go back over to this dialogue here.
All you need is a little bit of courage.
So obviously, you can't hear the dialogue at all. The sound effects, way too loud. The music is way too loud. And if you're an amateur, you just use the clip mixer or the track mixer and turn things down. But just turning down audio doesn't always work, because you need to process the audio with things like EQ and compressors. That's what Alex Audio Butler does in the background. All right, so let's apply this, an individual one for each track. So in the track mixer, twirl this down right up here, and you can see our inserts. This is where we put the effects in. Each one of these has a little triangle. So I'll click in here, go down to VST3, down to Tools, Unimule, and this is the sound effects one. So I'm going to choose Alex Sound Effects Audio Butler. And it's going to pop up the status over here, and you can see it says, I'm all ears. It's waiting to hear the timeline played, and then it's going to start making all these calculations. It's actually creating keyframes in the background that you never see, and you never have to manage. Oh, I love it. Okay, let's keep going. And the next one is the music track. Same thing, down to VST, Tools, Unimule, Music. Then we've got our voiceover, VST3, Tools, Unimule, Voice. And we put one on the master too. You don't have to, but it does make sense. Tools, Unimule, master. So now I have each one of these on their own track. You can see it's telling me it's updated the analysis less than a minute ago. I'm going to rewind, and now I'll play back.
Adventure is all around you. Waiting.
See, it's updating.
All you need is a little bit of courage.
It's still updating.
But in the heat of the battle, your bravery can run and hide.
Okay, I'm going to stop playing. It's still updating, so it's still calculating. Updated less than a minute ago. So while I was playing it back, it was updating. So it might not always be the best mix the very first time you play it through. Let's go back to the beginning and play it again.
Adventure is all around you. Waiting.
All right, so that's the default settings. We can still add more control on top of this. So if you double click on each one of these, so I'm going to go to the sound effects one, double click on it, and it opens it up. Now, Premiere Pro has a little problem with a high resolution monitor. So I happen to have an Ultra HD display, so I have to resize that. That's not Alex Audio Butler. That's just Premiere Pro. The plug-in part of Premiere Pro doesn't understand high-resolution displays, doesn't change the sound. You just have to resize it. So you can see I get some choices here with my sound effects. So first of all, the target volume. You can choose one of 5 levels for optimum sound. So I'm going to turn my sound effects down. And I can also have auto ducking, which is turned off. That's a good idea. Usually your sound effects you don't want dipping down and up. But if you want, you could either dip them obvious or subtle. I'm going to leave that as the way it is. Now, if you want to open multiple plugins, click on this one here, this button, and that will allow that one to stay up while I double click on the next one, which is the music. And just like before, I'm going to have to resize that. Okay, I'm going to leave this one open too. And here we also get a target volume. You can also set this to be off. And you get ducking settings. So subtle, so during voice, the music becomes slightly lower. Medium, it becomes a lot lower. Or contrasting, where you really hear it ducking down. So again, 3 simple choices on how you want that duck down. Let's just turn the volume down. And let's make this contrasting. Now let's rewind. And you can see it's updating analysis based on this. In the background, Alex Audio Butler just changed a bunch of keyframes that you never see. It changed a whole bunch of compressor settings and mastering settings. Now let's hit play.
Adventure is all around you. Waiting. All you need is a little bit of courage.
Okay, just so you remember, I'm going to shut all the effects off and let's go back and play it raw, just like before.
Adventure is all around you.
I'll turn it back on again, just so you have a quick understanding of what's going on.
Adventure is all around you.
Maybe that's too much ducking in the music. I'll hit that in medium. It's updating the analysis. It's done. Let me try that again.
Adventure is all around you. Waiting.
I'm going to show you another example of a different timeline in a second, but already you should be freaking out because the presence of that little boy's voice goes from, did I hear a voice? It's buried to it's right in front of you. but not too much. It's as if an audio mixer added the right amount of compression, the right amount of gain, and brought it back up. One more time. Let's listen to the little boy's voice.
Adventure is all around you.
If we double click on the voice, you also get settings for that too. So we can set this as a varying source, which is the default, or a constant source. A constant source would be something like this voiceover, which is probably a better setting, but varying sources works. I'm going to show you how varying settings works in a second with dialogue from different people. So again, we get natural compression, general compression, or maxed out compression. And then the last one I added was the master. And you can see three big settings here: general, boost. So this is going to boost the compression, increasing total loudness, and max, full compression for maximum loudness. And at the bottom, what's your target? Online, broadcast, or archiving? Archiving is a moderate volume that keeps the audio intact to be mastered later. So there's less processing in the archived one because you don't want to over process it to archive it, because archives are meant to be put away in case you need to bring it back and change it. So online, that's what I use. I set it on general, online. In fact, that's the default, so I don't even have to open that up. So I'm going to show you one more example here. Okay, like before, I'm going to play this back so we'll hear it raw.
His job was simple: keep her safe. She had other plans.
So you can hear the dialogue is absolutely buried. There's a voiceover, there's mixed dialogue, sound effects, and music. Let's go start. Oh, by the way, you could save this as a Premiere Pro project. So you could create a project and put multiple voices, music, sound effects, mastering, and then just save that and use that in the future. So let's start this from scratch. So we've got voiceover, dialogue, sound effects, and music. So voiceover, again, just like before, Unimule, we'll do voice. There's been an update in Premiere Pro in the newest version. If you hold the Option key on Mac, Alt key on Windows, guess what? You can finally copy effects, and you can now reorder effects by moving them around. So the second one is dialogue. I don't need to go into that menu. I'll hold down Alt or Option, and I'll drag it over here. Yay! Okay, and then the next one was, so it was dialogue, sound effects, and music. And of course, back on the master, put the master effect. So for this one, I am going to open up the first one. This is our voiceover, so it's a constant source, and I'm going to choose natural compression, so very light compression. The second one is mixed dialogue, and I'll choose varying sources on that one. The sound effects, we'll see what that sounds like. This one I'm going to leave up, and also the same with music. I'll leave this up. Right now it's medium ducking set on 3. So let's hear this. Alex Audio Butler is updating the analysis. It's updated. Let's play this back. Remember, I'm playing this back for the first time, so you might hear something odd as it's figuring things out.
His job was simple: keep her safe. Get in.
So obviously the music is way too loud. So instead of changing the track volume down, I'll just choose a different target value. I'm going to go over here to the second.
But she had other plans.
And by the way, I don't have to stop to make those changes. I'm going to make those changes while I'm playing it back.
His job was simple. Keep her safe.
Get in.
But she had other plans.
Don't get any funny ideas, Lancelot. I can take care of myself.
But when a secret from her past leads to murder at the top,
I'll call you back.
Who's Guinevere?
promises turn to
It
threats.
better be. I'll be there in an hour.
And truth disappears into shadow.
It's updating
No one
still.
can be trusted.
You forget. I'm the mayor now.
Nothing is what it seems.
You better holler real loud so's to drown out the sound of this bullet going through your skull. Now sit down.
And roles become reversed. Lines are crossed and double-crossed. Passions flare. And everyone has something to hide.
It's even better when you help.
The writers of Valley of the Shadow. Double identity.
Pretty good. So I found the target music. You saw me changing it a little quieter, a little more, and then I went to contrasting. So I've got quite a drop in there. I don't know if that's exactly right for a trailer, but I wanted when the music was happening to be a little bit louder underneath. Also set the target volume, the sound effects, and I'm not ducking those. So we played it through once. Let's play it again. Make sure that Alex Audio Butler is updated.
His job was simple. Keep her safe.
Get in.
But she had other plans.
Don't get any funny ideas, Lancelot. I can take care of myself.
But when a secret from her past leads to murder at the top,
I'll call you back.
Who's Guinevere?
promises turn to
It
threats.
better be. I'll be there in an hour.
And truth disappears into shadow. No one can be trusted.
You forget. I'm the mayor now.
Oh, by the way, if you're wondering what happened there, the Alex Audio Butler is not cutting off the dialogue.
The mayor now.
The original demo file, somebody chopped that off. I don't know why, but anyway, that's where the rest of that word goes through. So let's just isolate the dialogue.
Get in.
Don't get any funny ideas, Lancelot. I can take care of myself.
I'll call you back.
I'm going to turn off the Alex Audio Butler.
It better be. I'll be there in an hour.
Let's go to this one here.
You better holler real loud so's to drown out the sound of this bullet going through your skull. Now sit down.
Let me go back, turn it on.
You better holler real loud so's to drown out the sound of this bullet going through your skull. Now sit down.
So you can hear, and the master is on too. And the master here is, just like before, is set to general and online. So there you go. Alex Audio Butler is incredible. It does all this stuff in the background. And another thing I love about this is I don't have to clean up about a bunch of generated keyframes. So if I am using the built-in system that draws a bunch of keyframes, I might have to go and delete those keyframes. All I have to do here is turn the effect on, turn the effect off. And there's no limit. You can add as many of these to as many tracks as you need. You do need CPU to calculate it. Your final result will sound great. One recommendation that the folks at Unimule suggest is that you export out. So if we export this timeline as an audio only file, so we could do AIFF or we could do waveform audio and just export that out. That gives Alex Audio Butler a chance to do a full calculation from end to end. If you have a very long, complicated timeline, 30 minutes, 90 minutes, it's going to take a lot more analysis for Alex Audio Butler. So if I was rough editing and assembling, I probably wouldn't do this. I would do this near the end. This is also great for film editors who are dealing with crappy audio all the time. It's their job to make these preview movies, these screenings, while they're developing the their film, and they're dealing with audio that's not yet gone to the audio mixing house. Well, guess what? You drop in all of your crappy audio, throw on Alex Audio Butler, throw it on the master, and it's going to fix all the levels of your production and just make your preview sound so much better. For final versions, it's going to sound great. For a voiceover, it's killer. It's just going to hit it, and you'll notice over here on the right, watch my
Roles
meters.
become reversed. Lines are crossed and double-crossed. Passions flare.
I love the fact that the mastering never redlines. It never clips. It never goes past the amount to hit clipping. But it remains nice and loud and clear. So, amazing tool. You've got several very, very simple options on how to tweak the settings and make it your own. But from at the start, you can see how you can take a really unruly, lots of dynamic range production that's hard to hear, and it compresses it the right way. It sets the volume levels. I tell you, I use this on everything. Like I said, I've been using the earlier versions before the final release. It was just released, so go and check it out. There'll be a link in the description for you to try it out. Thanks to the folks over at Unimule for contacting me, like 6 or 8 months ago to show me what this is like. I've been using this. I think you're going to love it. It makes all of your audio mixing problems go away. Hey, if you're new to Video Revealed and you found this informative, take a moment and subscribe. You want to support us some more, you can do that through PayPal. There's a link in the description and on the front of the channel. Till next time, I'm Colin Smith, and it's my job to make your job a lot easier.